And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. As always, I am your host Joel, and this I can already tell you, Matt, is going to be a very Superman-centric episode. So I wore the right shirt and I got the right glass for it.
It is. I have also got the right glass for it. I didn't wear the right shirt because I have to go out after this to an
Right.
important meeting. So yeah, I look a bit fancy in my
There you
button-up
go.
shirt.
Fancy Matt, if this was a fighting game, this would be his alternate character skin.
Yep.
Yeah, it's we're recording this on Monday. We wanted to record it Sunday, but for some reason Skype was not being a team player. So if you're listening to this on Patreon, which if you're a patron, you'll always get to listen to it first. Thank you for all the new people who donated this month. Sorry about that. We try to be prompt with this thing.
Yeah. Just unforeseen technical difficulties.
Yeah, Matt and I basically were both looking at each other and we're like, well, this isn't going to be getting any better, so I guess we have to cancel for tonight.
Yep.
And as you said, you have an appointment, so we actually started a little earlier, and I won't keep you, which is why I think we should hop right into the news, shouldn't you?
I think we should.
Alrighty then. So you know what, Matt? It's been a long time on this show since we've talked about like a real solid fuck up. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I can't actually really remember the last like real solid one.
It's been a bit, a real deal fiasco. But oh, the comic community, oh, the geek community totally had one for us this week. I don't know how many people have heard about the Universal FanCon. Have you heard about it, Matt?
I have. I don't exactly know much about it, but I have heard about it.
It was all over our Twitter feeds, wasn't it? I know at least one person who was going, who kind of gave me the play-by-play. She's affiliated with NerdSync. Nice lady. She'll know who she is if she ever listens to this episode. But yeah, Universal FanCon was a big, like, kickstarted fan con that was going to be in Baltimore, Maryland. It was
Yep.
supposed to be this weekend. I say supposed to be because literally like hours before the doors were supposed to open and literally before anything was supposed to happen, all the major backers got emails saying, yeah, it's been postponed indefinitely. We're going to have to reschedule.
Ew. This seems to be like a running thing with like fan organized exhibitions, conventions. Because I know it was a while back. I know like Tumblr did like their own convention and it like failed
Yes,
horribly.
that's right.
And I think like there was like furry conventions that failed horribly.
Is it the Tumblr convention I was thinking that had the ball pit, the very sad ball pit?
Yes, that was like their consolation prize. If you paid for a ticket,
Okay.
you couldn't get to the show. You could just go in the ball pit that someone apparently
All right.
pissed in.
I'm glad we were thinking of the same thing. Yeah. Fans are not professionals, and it actually takes a fair amount of professionals to put on a worthwhile
Yeah.
con. This was a huge fuck up because vendors and industry people and everything, they had come to Baltimore assuming a con was going to happen, assuming they were going to get paid. And because you and I do this all the time, Matt, it's a lot to spend to go to another city, to get a hotel for a couple days, to have enough work saved up so you can go and work the con. This was a pretty big fuck up, and there was a lot of very unhappy people.
Oh yeah. I was seeing all sorts of like artists, writers, celebrities, and all that sort of getting pretty upset that they had to spend their own money to get to Baltimore, only to find out that no, you're not getting paid or anything.
Yep. It's Monday now. No new word about it. They the only thing they've done is a bit of damage control because obviously the internet detectives were out in force and being like, "Hey, the woman who claims to be running this thing, apparently she ran a couple other fan-funded cons that never ended up happening back in 2016. Now, is she just wholly incompetent? Are the people running this incompetent, or are they actively scamming people? We don't know."
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like pinpoint, but yeah, it kind of makes you think that maybe they're just trying to scam people.
It's certainly looking like that now. Now, in effort of showing some silver lining and actually highlighting some people doing some good stuff for the fan and geek community, there were some really nice stories I heard about what is it, that group Black Heroes Matter. You've probably seen their shirts and Blurb Girls and everything. They actually went around and they actually rented out a building to have an impromptu pop-up con so a bunch of the artists and vendors could recoup some of their losses.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's very nice. So, hey, if anyone out there is from those groups, hey, cheers to you. thanks for being good people. Thanks for, trying to help everyone out there. But yeah, man, what a fuck up. What a fiasco. It's not every day we get to talk about one of these. And here's the beautiful part about it. This story keeps developing. So by this time next week, we might actually have some more stuff to say.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what exactly is going on. I always like following these type of events because it's interesting how the things played out and how they thought they could organize this big thing, but they were wholly incompetent by the sounds of it.
Now, here's the funny thing, too. The people on my Twitter feed were doing such a good job selling this and talking about it. I'm like, man, Universal FanCon sounds fun. Is that something I want to go to? Is that something I want to try and spend the money for? Glad I didn't, or else you'd be hearing a bunch of very pissed off tweets from me being like, what the fuck am I going to do in Baltimore, Maryland? I could go to Point Lookout, maybe. I was there in the Fallout games. I'm sure it's just like that. And then you'd get more Instagram posts of me walking around Point Lookout, be like, oh, there's no irradiated rednecks here. There's no punga fruit. This place sucks. I only know vacation destinations from places I've been in Fallout. Which is ironically many places.
Yeah, ironically.
Ironically, yeah. I think I know my way around the Arlington Cemetery just from playing Fallout 3. Which, there's a useful skill I can use at some point.
Yeah, in case you get, kidnapped by, like, a Scooby-Doo villain and dumped in the Arlington Cemetery.
Oh, he'd be like a military-themed ghost. He'd be like, Soldier 6666. And I'd have to try and fight him, and then I'd pull off his mask and be like, oh, it was old Mr. Jenkins. All along, he was trying to get the doubloons that were buried in the graveyard, because it's always about doubloons.
It's an old real estate developer. I watched that Supernatural episode where they had the Scooby-Doo crossover. Yeah. Oh my god, that was so cool. It was so good.
Was it? See, here's the funny thing. You know who actually sold it to me and actually said they loved it and this blew me away? My dad, of all people, said he was flipping channels. Because my dad loves Scooby-Doo. That's the one thing he's actually kind of nerdy about. It's something he grew up with back in the 60s. And he's like, yeah, I've never watched an episode of Supernatural before in my life. Is that a show? And I'm like, yeah, Dad, it's a show. He's like, oh, I thought it was actually really funny.
Yeah. The show is kind of developed kind of like how Legends has gone, where they've kind of rolled with the comedic parts of it a little bit more recently, and it's worked out very well for them.
They're leaning into the joke. And I mean, Scooby-Doo is master of the crossover. They've crossed over with Batman and the Harlem Globetrotters and Phyllis Diller and Kiss and the WWE. There's no one Scooby-Doo won't cross over with. Which is why I'm proud to announce next month you can get ready for the Comic Multiverse meet Scooby-Doo crossover. You see, Matt and I own a haunted hotel, right? We're the two owners of that, and we call in the Mystery Machine. We call in those kids to help us deal with a ghost problem. No, what it should be? It should be a haunted comic book shop. We own a haunted comic book shop, and they need to come and help us out. Now, this project will be done as soon as we can. As soon as we can take some donations for this one, we're gonna fan group fund this one, like the Universal FanCon. And we're gonna get all the fan artists out there to draw this crossover, and then once it's done, we'll show it to you. So fan artists out there, get to work on the Scooby-Doo Comic Multiverse crossover.
Yes, we promise it will come. We promise we won't run off with your money.
No.
We'd never lie to you.
No, of course not. Even if I have to take the pictures and I have to turn it into a flip book and I just flip it for the audience. Matt and I will provide our own voices, of course. We won't be like Kiss, who has a Scooby-Doo crossover, then doesn't provide their voices or even their songs. Fucking Kiss.
Oh, Kiss.
But hey, believe it or not, there's actually some comic book news this week. Solicitations came out for July. And July, of course, is the big for both comic book companies, both Marvel and DC. Marvel will be entering its fresh start phase, so we got a lot of new books coming down the pipeline there. DC is also getting a bunch of new titles and also working some stuff around, but they're not making a big deal about it.
No, they're kind of having a fresh start with a lot of their books, like Justice League, Superman, Action Comics, and all that. But yeah, they're not really, they're just like, this is just happening.
They haven't given it a name, but for all intents and purposes, they're going to have DC Fresh Start 2. Or, to put it more accurately, and this is what I would have gone with, Rebirth 2.
Yeah. Electric
Re-
Boogaloo.
Rebirth, the second coming. See, that's what they should have called it. You had Rebirth. That's why the next phase should have been Second Coming. And then the third would have just been, like Trinity. But you already have a book called Trinity, so shit. And then Quadrilogy.
Oh, God.
And so on and so forth. But, yeah, one of the big pieces of news there that we saw, or actually I should say lack of news, when you look at the Marvel solicitations, they have all the new books that they've announced that's come out. But one mystery book that they left redacted. It's an X-Men family book. We know that much, but we don't know anything else about it.
Yeah, this is strange, and I'm wondering if maybe because this coming week Hunt for Wolverine starts, so
Yes.
I'm wondering if maybe it's because that's like his
Solo series.
either his solo series or him like coming back to the X-Men.
Right.
Like they'll make like a team. They'll make like maybe a book just called X-Men. And he'll be like the leader or like a big member of it or something.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Well, here's the thing. We have X-Men Red, X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold, Astonishing X-Men, which of course will be taken over by Rosenberg after issue 13. We don't have Uncanny X-Men right now, and Uncanny X-Men is the one everybody knows. That's the one with the name cachet.
Yeah, so it could be that. I know. I think I've like heard rumors that like maybe like Gold and Blue might be ending, or they'll be doing something with them where they both like just become one book or something. Red's kind of weird because it's just started.
Yeah, you see, I thought that too. But the fact that they got Matthew Rosenberg writing it, one of the, 5 hotshot young writers who are going to be writing everything in Marvel Fresh Start, I'm like, oh, well, then I guess it's not ending then, because why would you put a new writer on it if it's ending? I guess they figure, you know what? We've rebooted the X-Men titles enough, we can't reboot them anymore. We just have to stick with it and offer a fresh jumping on point. And maybe they'll do that for Gold, too. Maybe they'll swap around the Gold team and get a new writer in there at some point. It's possible.
I'd like to see Matthew Rosenberg do both books and like have them cross over every now and then and you could make it a bit more continuity friendly with both of him writing both of them.
That would be nice. That would definitely be fun. I know you and I have been ruminating and theorizing where it's like, man, wouldn't it be cool to see Hickman come back, and wouldn't it be cool to have Hickman do for the X-Men what he did with Avengers?
Yeah, I'd like Hickman to come back to do something like that. I'd like Charles Soule to take a mainline X-Men book. Yeah,
well, it's funny. He did have Astonishing. Yeah, Now he's off Astonishing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, where are they going to move Charles Soule? Oh, we'll just move him over here to another one.
Yeah, well, he's doing, like, the Wolverine thing, so he could be on this new one somewhere.
Yeah, it's very likely. Well, that's what we're theorizing, that if, Wolverine, when he inevitably gets a new standalone book, it would only make sense to have Charles Soule write it for a little bit. He killed him. He's writing his big coming back story, so obviously he should take that torch and run with it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
And I like Soule's Wolverine. I think he has a good grasp on the character. I think his Death of Wolverine story was one of the last Death of storylines that I actually really enjoyed, because it wasn't tacky. He just told a story celebrating Logan's life and history.
It wasn't tacky, and it wasn't one of those event deaths where they're like, oh yeah, no. they're dead for the summer, but they'll be coming back next year.
Yeah, he was dead, and it actually stuck for a pretty long amount of time.
It stuck long enough that I'm going to be sad to see what happens to Old Man Logan.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about this last week. Are they going to handle that in Extermination? Are they going to handle that in the pages of Old Man Logan? Because, I mean, his story is pretty much set in stone. He has to go back. He has to go back so time can be saved and so they don't create another paradox.
Yeah, something has to happen with him. And, what are they going to do, like, another Death of Wolverine story?
I don't know. Some fans I know in the comment section, yes, fans, I read your comments. I care very much what you have to say, had an interesting theory. What if they sent Wolverine back in time, but right before shit got bad, and so he could use his knowledge of the future to actually stop the Old Man Logan future from happening?
They could, but like, didn't he also? There was like a big arc in his book where he like tried to do that, wasn't it?
That it did happen. He literally
Yeah.
stole the ability to travel through time with the whole prospect of trying to save his family. Not even save the world, just save his family from the bad stuff that happened. That's how the Lemire run ended, and at the end of it, he's like, you know what, it's not worth it. Time is what it is. I need to stop looking backward. I need to start looking forward.
Yeah, so that doing that could probably undo the character development he went through in that.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also kind of shitting all over Millar's book too, where it's like, no, that book very decidedly didn't have a happy ending. Don't cram in a happy ending just to make yourself feel better about getting rid of Old Man Logan.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I feel about it. So, you know, good for that. You know, lots of stuff to look forward to. Again, you know, this might be enough dang blasted to make me start reading X-Men again.
yeah. I've been kind of interested in what they're going to be doing with them now that they've seemingly got the rights back to them on the media movie side and everything. So yeah, I'm interested. They're giving a shit.
Indeed. And hey, speaking of rights and everything, another piece of news we got this week, we got the cover for Fantastic Four #1 from Dan Slott.
Yeah, art by Assad Ribic. Looks amazing.
Looking really good. Oh, Reed's got a big beard. Beard Reed is good Reed, isn't he?
Beard Reed is good Reed. And the thing, though, looks kind of weird.
He does look a little weird. He looks a little non-human, especially because I really like how they've been drawing him in Marvel 2-in-1 recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a little weird. That's going to be a cool series, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
I'm definitely excited.
I can't wait to see what Dan Slott does with him.
I know, right? Isn't it nice to be excited for Dan Slott again? Like, ooh, Iron Man, and ooh, Fantastic Four. He could be doing anything. We don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
It is. Hey, you know, keeping up with Marvel Fresh Start and what they got going on and everything. Matthew Rosenberg said Punisher will be getting a fresh start #1, and he's going back to the streets. He's getting rid of the armor in a move that will shock and surprise nobody, especially if you're reading that series.
Oh wow, he's going back to what he usually does. Oh, what a shock.
No, really, Frank Castle going back to basics. It's not like he doesn't do that every 2 to 3 years. But Rosenberg did say, and obviously this would happen, that he's going to honor what happened in the War Machine storyline. And the thing is, and again, he's working it in the book right now, where it's like, obviously the hero community thinks Frank is too dangerous to have an armor of his own. They're going to try and take it away from him. He's not going to go easy. But he also has said to himself that, you know, man, with this armor and with all these, you know, new elevated powers, I've been able to, you know, enact change that I was never able to enact before, just shooting muggers and carjackers and everything. I should keep doing my punishment crusade that I've been doing, but I should aim higher than I've ever aimed before. And I'm like, ooh, I like that.
That sounds pretty cool. I kind of fell off on the new book. I do want to catch up on it because I've been hearing like his War Machine stuff has been really cool.
It has been. For me, mostly.
Yeah, I have been wanting to catch up, and I've been wanting to read a Punisher book, an ongoing for a while now, but yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what he does.
Mm-hmm. The first arc of that has just ended, so now would actually be a good time to catch up if you want a full story.
Yeah.
There you go. So now is that everything from Marvel that we got going? Oh no. We got one more big piece here. So everyone's favorite surly grandpa James Cameron came out of his underwater hidey hole to tell everyone that he really hopes that everyone's going to get sick of Avengers movies very soon, so they can go back to making real movies like the ones he makes.
Yeah, like the 50 Avatar sequels he's got greenlit, and those comments. He also like was talking about like how Guardians of the Galaxy is irresponsible science fiction, and I'm like, it's an escapist film. What the fuck,
man? James Cameron, I think all that time underwater, I think you literally have water in the brain right now. Are you cranky, James? Do you need a nap, Mr. Cameron?
Yeah, I think he's getting worried that like these movies are going to overtake like Titanic and or on like the leaderboards and everything. I think he's getting to that point.
Look, man, I know like Martin Prince before you thought you were king of summertime, but you're not king of summertime anymore, and I know that must be hard to lose that crown. But you don't need to be scared, James. Also, talk about, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Like you said, Matt, have you not been spending like 20 years working on a sequel to your Blue Cat People movie that was basically a glorified theme park ride? Are you not like trying to adapt a bunch of anime properties? Did you not spend years of your life adapting a Spider-Man movie that never got off the ground because it was bad?
Yeah, he was going on about how all these movies aren't original, yet he's doing, 7 Avatar films that are basically Pocahontas ripoffs.
Yes.
He's rebooting Terminator. He's doing all this stuff from his past. I think that there was talk of like a True Lies TV series or something.
Oh God.
So yeah, he can't really say anything.
I think in the same interview, James Cameron also compared his Avatar sequel to The Godfather, to where I'm like, okay, now you're just taking the piss, James. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know who would think that he was telling the truth there. Like, everyone would be asking, like, what he's smoking.
I mean, yeah, hey, what is it? You made some really amazing movies, some even better sequels, but come on, man. Don't be that way. Don't be that way, James Cameron.
Yeah.
Let's remember the good James Cameron, not the angry old man who yells at cloud. James Cameron is quickly becoming that meme right now of old man yells at cloud. Fucking Avengers movies, man, such bullshit. And it's so transparent too. It's like, come on, man, you don't have to feel threatened that people might not like your movie when it comes up. People like all sorts of movies now.
Yeah. I don't know how much more transparent he'd get, unless he came out and said, "I'm worried these movies are going to overtake me."
It's like, come on, man, Terminator. You can just say Terminator forever. Yeah. That's fine. Your movie is part of like the pop culture lexicon and landscape. You don't have to feel threatened, man. Yeah. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, Aliens. That's
Aliens,
damn
man.
Good film.
Yeah, don't. The only person who can play you, James Cameron, is you. So don't play yourself. And check yourself before you wreck yourself. Just so you know. But yeah, so that's the James Cameron news story. I thought we'd have a fun little back and forth on that because I know Matt and I actually respect James Cameron quite a lot in the work he's done, which makes this story even more funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some other interesting news that came out this week, and again, I alluded to it earlier on, that this summer DC Comics is basically going through its own rebirth, its own fresh start, even though they're not drawing attention to it and not calling it. Bleeding Cool actually had a lot of rumors that they were talking about possible new creative teams who are going to be joining new books. Now, again, Bleeding Cool, so, take it with a pinch of salt, but also remember basically everything Bleeding Cool has written about Marvel in the last little bit has been 100% correct.
Yeah, and so some of these creative teams have me really excited.
Absolutely. Like, here's the thing. The creative teams we're going to talk about and the books they're going to be writing, this is like, man, I hope this is true, because if you're teasing me, that would be mean.
Yeah.
First and foremost, a fan favorite of mine, supposedly David F. Walker could very well be writing a new Flash book in the future.
Ooh, exciting.
Now, this is interesting, and this they actually gave a lot of pretty good insight in the article I read talking about this one, and that is, hey, David F. Walker was in really good with Brian Michael Bendis at Marvel before he left.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal is, if Bendis was leaving, Walker would become the new steward of Miles Morales' Spider-Man, who, as of yet, they have not announced a new book. Furthermore, David F. Walker quit Marvel as well and is now doing indie comics. He's actually doing a really funny webcomic that you can read on his Instagram page. It's really good. But the idea is that maybe he only soft quit comics, and maybe because Bendis now has pull and cachet over at DC, he's like, hey, David, sorry, the Miles thing never worked out. Come over here and have a job.
Yeah, I could see that definitely having, like, he followed his friend over there, and it's like, ooh, now that you have some pull, could I do, like, Flash?
Because let's face it, Matt, if either one of us had gotten fired but got a better job somewhere else, we totally would be opening the back door and be like, quick, come in before someone notices. Quick. Quick before Jeff Johns or Dan DiDio come back from lunch. Come in here. Get to work on Flash before they notice. I love David Walker so much. I hate that Marvel seemed to set him up with projects that were doomed to fail from the get-go, like, Occupy Avengers. Great series. No one was going to buy that but me. Luke Cage, probably the best solo run on the character in years. No one was reading it but me, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And Walker has worked at DC before. he did like the New 52 Cyborg run no one was reading.
Yeah.
But hey, this is a Flash book. People might read it. Interestingly, though, they're saying it's a Flash book. They're not saying it's Barry, though.
Yeah, and this obviously comes after Flash War, which seems to change everything. So yeah, it could be any of the Flashes.
Absolutely. I would love to see a solo Wally book, especially because Wally doesn't look to be on the Titans anymore. It would be interesting to see what kind of adventures he could have on his own if they spun him out.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Like two Flash books, one with Wally, one with Barry, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, two great tastes that taste good together, and you kind of have your choice now. Although in the back of my head, I'm also thinking of like, how often intentionally and unintentionally racist the comic industry is, where it's like, oh, we have a hot, in-demand, beloved black writer. What do we do? Hey, do you want to write Wally 2 in a solo book? You wanna? You want to do that, David? Huh? And to which David F. Walker is probably like, I'll do it. I'll do a good job of it, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
Or he'll go like, yeah, sure, and then just like every other page is filled with yellow Wally.
Yeah, just to fuck with people. Which, here's the thing, I actually don't hate Wally 2 from what I've read of him in Titans. I will admit I didn't read him when he started, where, back in New 52 Flash, where apparently he was a bit of a dick and he was hard to like. I think now that people have the choice of Wallys, I think the other Wally 2 has a chance to really, kind of break the mold and kind of strike out on his own. Christopher Priest did a really good job writing him in Deathstroke when he was part of Deathstroke's Teen Titans team.
Yeah, he could do like his own thing and do it completely different from these other two Flashes.
Yeah, plus he's the TV adjacent one. Yes, there's a Wally on TV, but we all know which Wally he's more like.
Yeah.
So that's the thing as well. I hope this is true because, again, this would make me pick up a Flash book. I love the Flash and other stuff, but I have not read a mainline Flash book in a very long time.
I've been reading it. I haven't been reviewing it. I've been reading it mainly because I'm going to be catching up on it very soon. It's been very good lately. Good.
You see, Joshua Williams is writing that, and he's really good, and I love Williamson's work.
Yeah.
The problem Flash runs into, I think, is a lot of the problem that Captain America runs into, and that is his runs are rarely ever important to the bigger universe. So even though if you're a Flash fan, you're probably going to love it, he's probably not going to cross over with too much other stuff and get in the way and muddy the waters. It's just hard to get new eyes on it. It's like if you're not already a Flash fan and you're not already reading it religiously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, if David F. Walker does come over, then we could have like crossovers with like Bendis' Superman and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, which that would be fun. I'm sure they'd kick out a hell of a story there. Perhaps bigger than this news, we have what could possibly be going on in Green Lantern. And Green Lantern is going through a lot of upheaval right now. Dan Jurgens is, of course, off Action Comics. He had his final story this week in Action Comics number 1000. He's going to be writing Green Lanterns now.
That's pretty cool.
Which, that's for sure. That's not a rumor. We know that's happening. And I'm like, oh, he's an interesting choice for it. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if he's also doing art for it, because his art with the Green Lanterns would be really cool.
It is. It's funny there where it's like, yeah, here's Jurgens, who's shown himself to be like a real workhorse of the comic industry, been working there forever. I mean, man, fucking created Booster Gold, had his hands all over Death of Superman back in the day, and can still do it, is still knocking him out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's prone to the occasional Twitter meltdown, saying Jon Stewart, the comedian, is shit and fat people shouldn't be on planes. But, that aside, the man writes a mean Superman. It'd be funny to see him write the two younger Green Lanterns. I'll be interested to see where that go. That book has had an interesting trajectory and pedigree. But, yeah, so he's going to be taking Green Lanterns. That begs the question, who's going to be taking over the Green Lantern book once this ends? That's who's writing that now? It's the Exo Manowar guy, right?
Robert Venditti.
Venditti, yeah, the former Valiant guy, who he actually walked by me in a restaurant one time and I didn't know it was him until afterwards. Like, legitimately, like, everyone else was shaking his hand. And I'm being like, oh, that's one of them Valiant writer guys. No, he's the guy who writes Green Lantern. Oh. Oh, I could have met Robert. Fuck. Okay. The moral of the story, kids, is always shake hands, because you never know. Me just sitting there slack-jawed. Everyone really seems to like that guy. But yeah, so I can only assume he's going to be done his run soon, because he's been on Green Lantern since the beginning of DC Rebirth. He's been having like a Tynan level run.
Well, yeah, he's actually been writing Green Lantern since before Rebirth. He wrote Green Lantern, and then he transitioned over into Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps.
Oh, so he's been having a Benjamin Percy run where he was writing it even before. But yeah, so he might be closing up shop soon. And apparently, according to Bleeding Cool, the rumor for the new writer is Grant fucking Morrison, of all people.
When I saw this, I'm like, oh, this has to be a big mistake and everything. But then I like sort of thought about it. I'm like, I want this. I want this so bad.
It's that thing where it's like, it's almost too good to be true, but it's also one of those things where it's like, okay, so we're closing up shop on Green Lantern soon. We've had a couple really good runs in a row. Okay, hey, writers who work outside us but are pretty good, would anyone be interested in taking a stab at this? And Grant Morrison being like, oh, I've never written the Green Lantern before. Oh, I've been really thinking about space lately and aliens and transcendentalism. I'll take it.
Oh, I would love it. And it seems to imply as well the book is going from Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps to just being called Green Lantern.
Again, yeah.
Yeah. Which
is also very interesting. Man, it's like a guy like Grant Morrison, even if some of his ideas are absolutely insane, he's another guy where it's like, that's an idea man is what that is. And I think Green Lantern needs an idea man to kind of like break it open like Jeff Johns did and been like, nah, man, it's all in continuity.
Yeah, I would love it, especially like now, post metal, where like we have like the source wall's broken, anything can come through. Yes. He could just go with that. You just tell him, look, Grant, the source wall is broken down. He's like, oh, I've got an idea for that.
The chains are off. You do whatever you want, whatever golden age fucking weirdness. You just do it. You just grant it up, man.
Would it be even like more surprising? I don't think this has happened because I think they might be off limits. Is if they say, oh, it's a new Green Lantern book, it's Alan Scott.
Oh, again, I think the rumor is yes. The rumor is that apparently Jeff Johns is the only one who gets to write JSA at the moment. But that's not to say they couldn't bring shit back from the JSA if they wanted.
Yeah.
Well, hey, here's the funny thing. When Grant Morrison was writing his Justice League, it was Kyle, right? It was Kyle Rayner who was Green Lantern at the time.
I believe so, yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if he's just like, you know what? Hal's going away for a little bit. Hal's had too much time. He's a little overexposed. He's too powerful. He's too godlike. Now, we're going to follow Kyle now because I wrote Kyle.
I'd like that. Kyle just got back to being the Green Lantern, so yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
That would be funny. Be like, yeah, Hal's still around, but, he's too busy running the day-to-day operations of, of the main core and everything. Also, this is funny, too, because, like, clearly the Green Lantern books are getting shuffled because John Stewart is going to be on the Justice League, and he's becoming, like, the Omega Lantern or something?
He's becoming the Ultraviolet Lantern? They're making, like, a new Lantern color-up.
Just for him?
Yeah.
Next, there'll be the Neon Lanterns. I want to be a Neon Lantern. It's just me with glow sticks and ecstasy. What are my powers? To have a great time. That's my power.
And no one wants to be the Blacklight Lantern.
No, the Blacklight Lantern. Buy my powers. Oh. The piano? Why the piano? I don't even understand. Yeah, his power is his day job. Like, he just runs an Airbnb, and that's his power to be the Blacklight Lantern. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so some interesting things going in the Green Lantern book. I would not be surprised if they flipped the script and if it wasn't Hal.
Yeah, I could see it not be Hal.
Just for the fuck of it, where it's like, maybe we're out of Hal Jordan stories. Maybe we've told too many.
I'd love if it was Grant Morrison. He just chose like some random Lantern member, like Chip, the Squirrel Lantern.
That's fine. And again, he's Grant Morrison. You slap his name on it, people will read it.
Or just like a book about Mogo.
I would read that too. That's also fine. There's very few things you could say that I wouldn't be fine with. Another thing that people might be beyond fine with, actually, and this is actually kind of goes back to the conversation we had before about DC Black Label, and that is, man, these are some really amazing writers here. Why aren't they getting them to write main universe stuff? Well, we heard that Kelly Sue DeConnick was going to have a Wonder Woman book for Black Label. Well, according to this Bleeding Cool rumor, she might also be writing Aquaman.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Just mind blown. And like in a way where I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't have thought of it, but yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it would be pretty cool. Is it still Dan Abnett writing Aquaman at the moment?
yeah, I think so. I think he's been writing it this long, which again, he was writing it before New 52 too, so he's had a very long run and he's going to have to close up shop eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what? I kind of like the idea of a woman voice on Aquaman, especially in a day and age where Mira has become such an important character. It would be fun to kind of get her take on that dynamic and everything. I don't
Yeah.
even know where Aquaman's at right now because I was so tired where it's like, oh, he's a criminal again and he's wanted by Atlantis and he grew his hair and his beard to look like Jason Momoa. And I'm like, and I'm done. Although, from what I understand, that story was actually a very good version of that story I've heard 100 times. It's just I heard it 100 times and I was sick of it. I can only assume that when Abnett's done his run, he's going to have to become king again, and they're going to have to return to the status quo and start writing kingly Aquaman again.
Yeah, well, did he get was he one of the people who got a teaser at the end of Metal?
Yes, that Atlantis was going to rise above the
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
Maybe it's that,
Yeah, maybe.
which I'm fine with that too. That sounds like an interesting premise to take. And I mean, hey, if Deconnick can, really could have really opened up Carol Danvers back in the day and see her become Captain Marvel and really kind of elevate that character from like a fan favorite but kind of niche to being like a major player in the universe, imagine what she could do with Aquaman.
Mm. I'd really like to see her tackle it.
I would like to see that too. More power to her. Again, this is one of those ideas where it's like, you know what? This would get me back reading Aquaman, actually, if this turned out to be true.
Mm. Yeah,
Because
totally.
you'd have to check it out. The last one is probably the biggest and also probably one of the most no-brainers. How have they never done this before? The final Bleeding Cool rumor for new DC writing teams, Brian Azzarello for Suicide Squad.
Okay, cool, I guess.
I mean, the man clearly doesn't like superheroes, but the Suicide Squad are not superheroes. They're supervillains. They're morally repugnant. They're all about, double-crossing each other and doing, like, serious crime stories. All stuff that Brian Azzarello excels at.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like he'll go back and forth on like one of their origins, like he did on Wonder Woman. Like,
Yeah.
like no, she would like Captain Boomerang is from here. No, he's from there. Or, Killer Croc has a skin condition. No, he's an actual crocodile. Or,
Probably. Captain Boomerang is not from Australia. He's actually from New Zealand, and I will die on this hill. You'll all have to fight me on that one. Also, Harley Quinn, her color scheme isn't black and red anymore. It's orange and blue. Fight me on it. Also, Batman has sex with Batgirl over and over again in every backup story. Fight me on it.
Not even we're gonna base an event around it.
You stupid nerds, fight me on it. Why do you have to be this way, Brian Azzarello? Why do you have to be so confrontative with your audience all the time?
I work with Frank Miller, guys.
Yeah, because fuck you, I'm Brian Azzarello. My beard is long, my hair is short and shiny. I wear little glasses, and fuck you. I wake up every morning, I open my Google Word document, start writing, and drink a warm, hot glass of fuck you. But no, seriously, like Azzarello on Suicide Squad, I've often said with the last couple runs of Suicide Squad, they never had a writer with any personality, and that always bugged me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when other writers would have a Suicide Squad run, there would be personality to it. You could know that was that particular creator doing it. Like, who's doing it now? Like Rob Thomas or some shit. And I'm just like, this is all very generic, and it's also way too close to the movie.
Yeah, that's the problem that seems to be cropping up with Suicide Squad. Wherever I see them, they're like, oh, they're just trying to make it like the movie.
Yeah. I would hope if Azzarello took the reins on it, he would again completely blow it up and do his own thing and be like, okay, here's villains I want to write about for a change.
Yeah, I would really like them to see the change the whole team. Like none of the people who are on the team at the moment like get a whole new crew in of like just surprise characters. Bring. I know he was on the Secret Six, but like bring Catman into it or something.
Please do bring anyone back. Azzarello likes Bane. Bane ain't doing shit. Have Bane be on the Suicide Squad. Let him be the muscle of the team for a bit. I mean, you have to have Deadshot because Deadshot and Waller are basically the only two consistent members. You would need them. They're probably going to force him to have Harley Quinn on the team because she is now apparently synonymous with the Suicide Squad, even though she never was until 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Which, thank you, movies, for writing a completely alternate continuity on this one and being like, history, whatever. But yeah, you know what? Hey, if those turn out to be true, those all sound pretty cool.
They do. They really sound pretty cool. I'm really excited, especially for Green Lantern.
Yeah, I like, this is one of those news things where it's like, these are too good to be true, but I really hope they all end up being true at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess with that we can hop on over into what we read this week, and it was a pretty meaty week.
It was a pretty big week.
I guess we can start off with the one I'm sure everyone wanted us to talk about, Action Comics number 1000.
Action Comics. I'm showing my issue on the screen now. I got the Joshua Middleton 80s variant.
Nice. My issue's in the other room. I got the one where it's like 4 different generations of Superman. You got like Black Suit, Death of Superman, you got New 52, then you got like the Burn and everything else up here, and I got the Clayman one too.
Oh, nice.
I really like the Clayman one.
Yeah.
Where it's just him standing there looking all heroic and stuff. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Seeing as you're the biggest Superman fan among us, Matt, and because I'm sure this was like Christmas to you, I will let you take point on this, sir.
It really was Christmas to me. Yeah, well, where do we begin? There isn't an actual story in this book. It's all anthology stories celebrating different parts of Superman's history from way back in the 30s till now.
What was your favorite of the anthologies? I know I have mine. What was your favorite?
I have a couple. I really liked Tomasi and Gleason's, I guess, final like word on Superman, which was really cool. It was like a short story involving Vandal Savage showing Superman his history. Beautiful
looking. Gleason is a freaking artistic chameleon that he could ape all of those old styles.
Oh, it was so good. Some of the stuff it was referencing as well, like Superman and the Mole Men, the animated series General Zod,
Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come. What was the other one? The Fleischer cartoons, the old 30s costume, all these really cool stuff.
It's really good. The bit with him stopping up the train with his body is a pretty goddamn great image, isn't it?
It is. It's so good. So good.
I like it too because he drew him with like the 1930s musculature where it's like, hey, I'm out of shape, in shape guy. I've got a little of a gut, but I could also probably wrestle you pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. Like every page was kind of consistent with the art style of that time.
Also, nice use of hyper time. I like Vandal Savage being like, yo, I weaponized hyper time to force you to live your greatest moments over and over again. So you can get to the future. But damn it, Superman had an amazing life. I did not account for this. It's hell being Vandal.
Yeah, another story I really liked was Jeff Johns and Richard Donner's story, The Car.
This was my favorite one.
Yeah, and we basically get a continuation from Action Comics 1 of what happened to that famous green car that's on the cover, and like the owner of that.
Yeah, the crook that was driving it, the 1950s mobster, and he's like running around telling everyone, no, it was a man in a cape. A man in a cape broke the car. And they're like, you've been drinking, man? Are you okay? Did you hit your... Everyone thinks he's crazy, and rightly so.
Yeah, and then Superman finds him again. And it's like, hey, you don't be bad.
Yeah, stop doing crimes.
Yeah, stop doing crime. Be good. And he does. He sprays kids with water.
Yeah, yeah. During a heat wave, he opens up the what is it, the fire
The
hydrant. I'm like,
fire
oh, that's
hydrant.
nice.
Yeah.
It's like Superman is so nice and so good and so pure. He doesn't actually want to fight this guy anymore. He gets him to turn his life around, with the subtext being like, okay, you can turn your life around, or I can throw you again with my super strength. What are you gonna do? Yeah, I thought so.
What was another? I like Ron Mars's and John Cassaday's "Faster Than a Speeding Bullet" story.
Mm.
That was really cool. Where Superman stops literally a speeding bullet from like 2 inches away from someone's head, and it's all about how these people are the ones that inspire Superman, where they think it's the other way around.
Yeah, lots of love letter stuff going on. Hey, here's the thing. Matt and I have been very honest about our feelings of Tom King. I didn't hate Tom King's Superman story. I actually thought it was kind of a cool idea.
It was a really interesting idea, and it showed that he actually kind of thought about it and gave some thought about it.
Absolutely, being like, yeah, I'm sure when the Earth dies and the hills are but dust and everything, Superman will, of course, still be alive. How does Superman deal with mourning the Earth, the planet that he was raised on, the planet that his parents are from, and everything? I bet that would make him sad, but it would also make him kind of hopeful because, he defended the Earth until the very end and everything. And I'm like, see, Tom King isn't a hack. It's just, he works well when he has a direction and he's concentrated, and when it's a short.
Yeah, when it's like 3-4 pages.
But man, talk about 3 good pages and talk about Clayman's art. I hope he and Tom King work together again on something because their styles really complement one another.
Yeah, they really do. I really liked his art in that story.
It's good stuff. What other ones were there in that one? Oh, I guess we got to talk about this. We got to talk about the biggie. What is it? Jurgens opened the book with a story, and then Brian Michael Bendis ended it with a story that's going to lead us into his new run. What did you think of that? What did you think of The Truth About Krypton?
I don't really know what to think about it.
It has all the hallmarks of Bendis right out of the gate. You can't say he lied to you. You can't say he pulled the wool over your eyes because he's like, here's everything I do in one story.
Yeah, it's for the Bendis speak where the characters just they think they sound normal, but they really don't.
Everyone's got a bit of verbal diary. In fact, for the first couple pages, we don't even hear Superman talk. It's 2 diner waitresses who pull Superman out of the rubble. And they have a conversation about the trunks because the trunks are back and they're the first story to address it.
Yeah, the trunks are back, and we don't actually get an explanation of why they're back, which I imagine is going to be happening in like either his Man of Steel series or those one of those specials from Superman or Action Comics.
You know what? I'm honestly fine if they never explain it. It's just like, fine, he has them back now.
Yeah, they don't really need to. But yeah, I don't know how to. I did like some of the stuff. Like I like that, like when the bad guy Rogol Zar.
Yeah. I think we're gonna be calling him Czar from now on. I've heard some people say Ruble Czar. I've heard some people say Rogal, Rugul, Rubish, Reuben Sandwich.
Yeah, I'll just call him Czar. I like
probably not a good idea to have your brand new villain have a name that we cannot agree on how to pronounce.
I liked it when he like punched Superman into a window and Superman like stopped himself before he hit the window. I thought that was a nice touch.
Nice self-control.
The problems I have though is that the little dialogue we did get of him, he sounds a lot like Peter Parker.
Yeah, a little bit. His internal monologue sounds like a much younger person.
Yeah, like that, or like Miles Morales or something, and that probably comes from Bendis writing all these young characters for so long.
Yeah, and like he can't write him gritty. He can't write him like he writes Jessica Jones and Daredevil, because that would make no sense in Superman's mind either.
No, I would like to see if, like, once he gets into writing his actual book where they have, like, crossovers with Batman, I'd like to see him writing Batman like he writes, like, Daredevil or Jessica Jones.
That seems like the obvious one, right? Where it's like, okay, Brian, you can write whatever you want. Write Batman. You wrote some of the greatest modern Daredevil. You wrote some of the best modern noir in Jessica Jones. Wait, why are we letting Tom King still write this book when we have him over here? Bendis, who could literally like fart this out in his sleep.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird that he sounds like a lot younger than he actually is. Another thing is the story seems to involve Krypton, fresh on the heels of two rather big Krypton stories.
Mm-hmm.
One that also looks to be like thrown, like the continuity of it thrown into question by this story.
Yep, boy, howdy did it ever, because we just had that Mr. Oz story where Superman goes back in time with Booster Gold because, he needs to see the death of Krypton. He needs to see how it happened to see, if this guy was lying or not. And it happened exactly as we know it to happen.
Yeah,
only for this new
we know
villain to come along.
Manhattan is somehow involved with taking his father.
Yep, only for Rogol-Zar to come around and be like, oh, I knew your dad, Jor-El, and I told him that, all Kryptonians need to die, and that's why I blew up Krypton.
Yeah.
and somewhere in the ether, Black Zero is like, we used to blow up Krypton. We blew up Krypton sometimes. Why does no one remember us except for the TV show that remembers us?
Yeah, that was kind of when that kind of got me worried, like, oh, are we starting to do the whole creativity over continuity thing again?
Right away. Also, hey, I'm sure as someone who's read Superman Earth 1 and everything, wait, having a Krypton killer and having a dude who was like actually responsible for blowing up the planet, didn't Straczynski do this already?
Yeah, first volume of Earth 1. His villain, I can't remember his villain's name because it was really forgettable.
Like the Grand Commander.
Yeah, he was kind of like the same sort of thing as Zar.
To which, again, it's like, hey, Brian, I'm sure you thought that was really clever when you wrote it. I know on Twitter when you had your big list of Superman books that you were doing to catch up on, I noticed that book wasn't in there.
Probably so should have been.
I'll give you a pass on not reading it, but again, this makes me really worried about DC editorial that no one stepped in and said, yeah, you see, Brian, we kind of did this already in an Elseworlds. If you make the main universe feel like the Elseworld, then what the hell is the point of the Elseworld anymore if we start copying off each other's tests?
Yeah, again, I'm convinced that it's Brian Michael Bendis. We'll let him do whatever he wants.
We'll let him rock with it. But we just had a story about it coming so soon. You can't even hope that people forgot, because it's pretty clear they're not going to forget because we've made a huge deal out of it.
Yeah.
That's a thing. To complement it, I like Supergirl was active in this story. I like the Superman books are actively acknowledging her again after so much of being like, she's off in her own city doing her own thing.
Yeah, I don't actually know what's happening with like her in regards to like when he takes over the books. Like, is her book ending, or is he going to be writing that as well?
Well, that book is already done, Supergirl, and apparently, and again, now I can't
really?
actually. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's been done for a bit now. Supergirl, actually.
I know it's on like issue 20,
right?
And that came out a couple weeks. I'm like 2 issues behind.
Right. Well, again, I think that might be one of the other books that's getting DC Rebirth 2, getting DC fresh started. And this one I can't actually talk about because someone told me how this one is going to go, so I can't say anything. I've been sworn to secrecy. But yeah, don't be surprised if you see more Supergirl in the next little bit.
Yeah, and also like Zar calls her his cousin sister, which is really weird.
Yeah, that is weird alien speak. I'm like, look, I know they're from Kansas, Rogol-Zar. I don't know how deep in Kansas you think they're from if you got cousin sister and uncle grandpa and everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do things on your planet, Rogol-Zar, whatever the fuck that place is.
Yeah, so yeah, his story it kind of raised a lot of questions. it got me interested though.
For sure, and it's like, hats off for not lulling us into a false sense of security about what a Bendis Superman story might be. Oh, okay, he's getting all his bad habits out right away, everybody.
Yeah, so I know like before his actual book starts on May 30th, I think the first week of May, he has another Superman story in that DC Nation book.
Right, which again is basically DC Rebirth Universe number 2, but we're not calling it that.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that's that, everybody. But yeah, Action Comics. it was pretty damn cool. 80-year anniversaries don't come but once in a lifetime, and I'm glad to say that you and I got to live through this watershed moment, Matt.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the book, and it's probably something I'm going to read every now and then because it's a nice book.
It is. Now we patiently wait for Detective Comics number 1000, where they roll out the red carpet and do way more for Batman's anniversary, because they always do.
Yeah, he'll get like animated shorts, TV movies, or all this sort of stuff. Yeah, of course.
That was actually a fun conversation we had over on Elseworlds Exchange, the other podcast that I co-host, where we're like, okay, let's fan pitch Detective Comics number 1000. Who gets a story in that one? Go.
Who would get a story? I imagine it'd be pretty much all like the same sort of people who did the Superman one. Your Tom Kings, your Tynans.
Yeah, of course. Grant Morrison will have a story.
Yeah, definitely. All the people who had big Batman stories basically would get them.
Denny O'Neil will have a story if he's still alive, and God willing, he will be. Jeff Loeb should have a story, but apparently Jeff Loeb is really, really pissed at DC at the moment.
Okay.
So he might not, even though he probably should. Actually, there were some people who probably should have had a story in Action Comics who didn't. No John Byrne.
No Grant Morrison.
No, it's like Byrne. I get Byrne's kind of been being an asshole recently in public, and like I can understand not wanting to pick up the phone. Again, same with Batman. Chuck Dixon should probably have a story in Detective number 1000, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't pick up the phone and call him, because really, fuck him recently. That's kind of the thing about it. But yeah, it was a fun story. It was a fun story.
It really was.
But yeah, and hey, that wasn't even all the Superman we got this week, Matt. There was even more Superman happening.
There was. We had Superman issue 45, Tomasi's last issue.
What a tearjerker this one was.
It was, and I really liked it because it was basically a reverse of the first issue.
Yes.
Whereas them moving to Hamilton, this was them leaving Hamilton.
It was a real sunrise, sunset thing. It's funny, too. It almost felt like Tomasi was working through his own issues about saying goodbye to writing Superman through John. It was like, I don't want to leave. All my friends are here. All my best memories are here. How can I ever let go? And Superman being like, no, change is good. They say change is good in like 5 different ways in that story.
They do. They make a good point at saying that the change is good. And all the stories, like Clark tells his son, all the analogies he uses are really good.
They even reuse that Robert Frost poem, Nothing Gold Can Stay. So, hey, if you're a literary nerd as well as a superhero nerd like I am, you're going to have a raging Semite over this one. Because it was good. We also kind of got some closure about what was going on with Boy Zorro and Robin Zorro. They're just going to live in Hamilton with Kathy now.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
That's fine. That's cool. Again, man, between her and Nobody and these 2 Bizarros and all their pets and everything, I'm like, that's a book right there. Can we have a Hamilton County book?
I'd really like that. That'd be really cool.
I mean, especially because we know, like, most of the people who lived there were aliens that came with Manchester Black, so...
Yeah, that'd be like a really cool book. Just some alien town masquerading as like a quiet American backwoods town.
And hey, speaking of Manchester Black, he even drops reference to that, being like, oh yeah, Manchester Black's mind is still inside this cow. They don't know that, but you as the reader know that. He'll be back.
Yeah, I love that they dropped that, and when I saw that, I'm like, oh, yes, they remembered.
Here's hoping whatever Tomasi writes next, here's hoping he follows up on that.
That'd be pretty cool. And
again, we don't even know what Tomasi's going to write soon. Assumably he'll have to go and write something.
Oh yeah, he'll be doing something.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a fun one. That was a sad one. It was hard to let it go, wasn't it? Much like the characters in the story, I didn't want it to be over. I didn't want to let it go.
No, I didn't either, but it ended like really well.
Yeah, because that run was just so good and so positive, and it was, again, it really gave a lot of time to the growth of Superboy as a character. Like, I think Tomasi has worked miracles a couple times. He made Damian more likable, and he really put John over as a new character worth watching.
Yeah, it emphasized the Superman family, the
It
aspect of that, and getting actually did something with that. Whereas I don't think any other writer really would have. They would have just gone, "Oh no, I got a Superman book. Well, we need action and punching robots and stuff." Where we had like whole issues of like Batman come and eat pie at the Kent house and all that sort of stuff.
The man gets father-son relationships really, really well.
Yeah, I think I had a comment on one of mine asking if Tomasi is a father because he wrote John really, really well.
Here's the thing about Tomasi. No one knows that much about him. He's a very private dude. He never even had a Twitter page for the longest time.
He's big mystery.
He's a mystery man. Hell, I didn't even know what he looked like until just recently when he was going to comic shops to sign this final issue. And I'm like, oh, he looks like me in 20 years. We even have the same Superman shirt we got off T-Public. We even got the old retro Superman shirt. I tweeted that picture. I'm like, I like this man's work. I like his taste in shirts even more. Like literally, he looks like he could have been a guest host on the comic multiverse at some point. He just looks like someone in our group of friends in 20 years. And it's like, shit, no wonder we like you, man. You're basically one of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a good one. I guess to transition on over from DC to Marvel, we had the penultimate issue in Avengers No Surrender this week.
Yeah, which I guess kind of was its ending, really.
In a way, all the big finale stuff happened here, and then we're going to get another issue that I'm going to guess is going to lead us into Jason Aaron's Avengers run.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we got to see everyone come together, fight the Challenger. Living Lightning got to be the coolest dude ever for a minute.
Yeah, they kind of remembered him, which is really kind of ironic because his whole deal was about being remembered this issue or being forgotten. As he played the poker game with a Grandmaster.
Yeah, legacy is a major theme of this comic and how we will be remembered. And it's great because, all the other heroes are trapped and everyone else is busy fighting Grandmaster. So Living Lightning puts himself on the line to try and save all the heroes who were captured by challenging Grandmaster to a poker game because, that's his sickness. He just can't say no. And so he keeps betting things like, oh, well, I bet my life, I bet the earth. And then he says, I bet my memories and my reputation that if I lose, you can erase me from history like you did the Challenger, or you can make me remembered as like a D-list loser who never did anything important, which of course the Grandmaster doesn't know that Living Lightning is already kind of a D-list loser hero. But that's the genius of it, where it's like, I got you because I know your ego and your hubris will not make you make that bet. And then he has the best line ever where Grandmaster's like, I have to know, I had a straight flush. What cards did you have? Only for Lightning to be like, honey, I don't even play cards. Boom!
He became the savior.
Living Lightning beat a goddamn Elder of the Universe, beat a god by lying to him better. See, because when you're a D-list loser hero, you have nothing to lose, which makes you the most effective, actually.
Yep. Yeah, that was so cool.
Scarlet Witch, again, proving to be the most useful member of the team because she basically takes the limiters off everyone else and lets them become their most powerful self.
Again, we talked about this last issue. I guarantee none of this will ever be seen again.
No, I'm shocked they did it twice. We're like, that power's too good. That power's broken. You need to nerf that power in the next update, because literally every time there's an alien invasion or Galactus or evil doubles from another universe, why does Wanda just not come around and, unlock everyone's full potential?
Yeah. Again, it's something you can't have because it's too powerful.
You got to at least write a line into it where she's like, oh, I severely weakened myself doing it, or, every time I do it, I threaten destroying the universe or doing another House of M. I really shouldn't push myself that hard.
Yeah, you got to have that one thing where it's like, oh, if I do it again, I'll, break the magical barrier and horrible stuff will happen or something.
I'll destroy magic again. You know, if I do it, sex goblins will come out of the ground and finger everybody, so I can't do it ever again. You gotta have a reason, even if it's a stupid reason. A stupid reason is better than no reason at all. That's how I've always felt.
Yeah, and I think like probably like the most interesting and kind of sad thing is like Voyager kind of like is the one who like rallies all the Avengers to defeat Challenger Prime, and she like kind of like fades off into the distance just at the end of it and lets the heroes have their thing. So she's like the forgotten Avenger.
I'm sure that's their wait and see moment where it's like, did you like Voyager? Would you like to see Voyager again in another thing? We can write her again in another thing, but only if you liked her.
I liked her. I thought she was alright.
I liked her too. It's funny, people were losing their goddamn mind when she first came out. They're like, Secret Avenger, new women character, to where it's like, oh, she was actually a double agent. Oh, she actually had a pretty interesting story and set of powers. Oh, she actually comes full circle by at first she manipulated the Avengers' minds for evil, then at the end she manipulates them for good. All right.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, good stuff. I enjoyed it, and that final page of them all standing together, heroic and triumphant, I'm like, that feels good.
Yeah, this is an Avengers book.
It's an Avengers book. It's a feel-good Avengers book. It's something we haven't gotten in a very long time in an era of, like, civil wars and everything.
Yeah. It's I'm excited for what Jason Aaron's going to do. I'm excited for what the next issue is going to be, since it seems to be, like, it's probably going to be, like, a wrap-up, tie-off to it, because they still got to, like, explain, like what the fuck happened to the Hulk? He got like punched into space. And all this other stuff.
I'm sure it'll be to set up what series are coming next. Also, other questions. Hey, what happened to Doctor Doom and Iron Man?
Yeah. Did Iron Man get frozen?
I think Riri got frozen.
Yeah.
But we didn't see Tony, which is like, wait, is this before or after Tony came back? But why isn't Doctor Doom? I know the villains got frozen too, but was he counted as a hero or a villain during all this time?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of question marks. I feel like if they have like one final issue, Jim Zub and Al Ewing and Mark Waid are going to use it to spin off into what they're writing next. That's what I would do.
Yeah, they'll do what each of them are writing, plus probably set up Jason Aaron's stuff.
Yeah, be like, hey, the Hulk was pretty fucking badass in this, wasn't he? You want to see what's happening with him? Go follow his book. Man, Quicksilver disappeared. You should probably buy Saladin Amid's miniseries when it comes out and see what happens.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark Waid, here's some Doctor Strange shit that's happening. You should come read this.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst other things. And Jim Zub's like, yo, I got Champions. It's pretty all right. They got a mobile command base now. It looks like a G.I. Joe toy. I think it's cool. That was literally his first issue. The team works together on building a mobile command base that looks like a G.I. Joe toy. And I'm like, yes, that is something teens would build for themselves. That's exactly what I would build if you gave me the money. And this is where we put the subwoofers, and this is where we put the Slurpee machine. It's fucking dope as shit. But yeah, so that was Avengers No Surrender, the penultimate issue. Pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this whole series. It's not been a bad issue.
It was wonderfully refreshing. I say it's refreshing, but in fact, it couldn't have been more old school and old timey in Avengers tale.
Yeah, well, it's something we haven't had an Avengers book like this for a while. We've had Avengers books, but they've all been pretty, mediocre.
Yeah, this is one of those absence makes the heart grow fonder type thing. This was a blast from the past.
Yeah.
What else did you have this week, Matt?
I had the final issue of Christopher Priest's Justice League and the final issue of Justice League before No Justice Begins.
Oh, it's funny how Avengers and Justice League are on basically the same path right now.
Yeah. This is, the end of Christopher Priest's no-win scenario, the fan storyline, whatever you want to call it. It has Deathstroke fighting the Justice League, since he's involved with Red Lion in this thing that's going on in Africa with the Justice League, trying to get involved in what's going on there. It's kind of smart because they talk Slade down kinda, and they play up to his ego a little bit, where they're like, look, we know. So I was like, look, we know you're here to fuck up Red Lion's plans because that's what you do. You like wars and all that sort of stuff.
That's also a storyline that's been going on, also written by Chris Priest in the
Yeah.
Deathstroke book.
Yeah, I'm just like, so here's what we'll do. We'll pretend to be defeated by you to lure Red Lion out and kind of like scare off all the people. So like all the people get dispersed and everything, or the refugees go away. So there's no people in the area for them to get harmed and everything. While all that's going down, last issue I can't remember whether I said like Wonder Woman got shot. So she's been sort of helped by Raven.
Nice.
And sent to like hell, I guess it was, where she fought Thanatos, the god of death.
Shit, nice Greek.
Who, funny enough, kind of looks like Batman in a way. Like he's like
really,
he's like all skulls and everything, but like he's got like a bat skull sort of horns and everything. Yeah.
I guess Chris Priest was also getting ready for God of War, the new one that came out. He had to have his own little diversion where Wonder Woman kicks out of hell.
Yeah, she does. She like beats him at his own game and everything. That was really cool. And yeah, it was just sort of like tying everything down and getting ready for No Justice. And what was the funniest thing I really liked about the series is right near the beginning, Superman says to Baz that they should get together and go out to get lunch. And the whole series, all of Simon's like dialogue has been him obsessing about that, and like it's like
what does it mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what does it mean when this guy asked me to go to lunch? What's going to happen? And they finally pay it off this issue where like Clark invites him to lunch and he arrives and he's like, "You got to fire me, aren't you? You got to like kill me and fire me." And like Clark's just sitting there trying to order, and he just like takes off. This is so funny. It's just so funny.
That's what's called a long con joke, is what that's called.
Yeah, Cyborg, obviously, it isn't really like clear whether he's still the leader of the Justice League. I don't think he is, because he does get very...
Snyder ain't gonna honor that.
No, Batman or someone will be the leader. He does get mad at Batman though, because Batman pushed him into being the leadership, so he actually punches Batman and gives Batman what for, which is really cool.
Nice.
And yeah, the end is just them setting up like this seems to be taking place after JLA has finished, because in JLA at the moment they're like building that new like Hall of Justice and everything. And this seems to imply that at the end of this they're in that. We're not really because all the team arrive, including Martian Manhunter, to get ready for No Justice. Like whatever's happening in that, they go off to deal with a big crisis or something.
Nice use of continuity.
Yeah, it's very cool. It was a really cool series. I really liked that he did a book that wasn't, big alien invasion. It was something the League couldn't, punch or use gadgets or powers on. They had to think about it.
It was a breath of fresh air. I applaud Christopher Priest for basically being like, "Hey, let's give the Justice League Avengers problems this week."
Yeah, exactly. That's the good way to explain it. They get Avengers problems in this arc, which is real problems.
And they're written way more down to earth and way more fallible than they've ever been.
Yeah, they are.
It's not too bad at all. I guess the other big storyline that was continuing this week, we got Infinity Countdown #2.
Yes, or Guardians of the Galaxy issue 152 or whatever it would be.
Yeah, with a little Adam Strange backup story in there that actually moves it forward. And man, I feel so punked to the point where I'm like, man, I should have just been reading Jerry Duggan's Guardians all the time, shouldn't I have? And he's gonna make you read it now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This is meant to be like a big event, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like a big event. It just feels like your Guardians series ended early, and you're able to finish up in this like short run.
Look, we didn't trust you to finish his Guardians of the Galaxy run, and it was going to be really important to what was going to happen in Infinity War, so we had to trick you. We had to put an event sticker on this, even though it's totally not.
Yeah, it really isn't. It does not feel like an event.
No, it really is. Now, that being said, it's a pretty solid Guardians of the Galaxy story with some fun little stinger stuff with Adam Strange. But it is not the event you're looking for.
Yeah, it's not the event we were promised.
No, it really isn't. It really isn't. And I don't know, maybe that'll change. Again, we got these other tie-ins coming up with like Daredevil and
Yeah.
Champions and everything. Maybe that'll have more going on.
Yeah, but like these first two issues, as well as like that Prime book, were all
Mhm.
Guardians of the Galaxy related.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Sure
I kind
was.
of felt like Duncan's like, hey, I've got these Guardian scripts just lying here. I'm just gonna take them and take the front cover off them and put
Put him in.
Infinity.
Well, I guess I don't think it was his choice because they ended his Guardians run prematurely to start this. So I'm like, oh, so y'all knew what was up.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I was reading it, I'm like, these are all like storylines of a Guardians book with Richard Rider meeting his brother Robbie,
Yep.
and them protecting the Power Stone, and oh, Ultron was built up in that book. So oh, here's Adam Strange. He was built up in that book as well.
The pregnant Nova finally
Yeah,
giving birth. I'm like, yep, this is a paid off storyline if ever I've seen one.
yeah. So I'm really glad I read that Guardians run now.
Yeah. I got to double back now. I got volume 3. I'm like, all right, let's double back and do this shit. Because I feel like I should be appreciating this way more than I actually am. It's good, but I'm not appreciating as much as I should be.
Yeah, and I get the feeling a lot of people will be saying that.
Yeah, I think this one turned people off where it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. So this is all it's going to be, huh? So just read the last 5 pages is what you're telling me.
Yeah, and that's really all you need. Really, all you needed to do. You just needed to read Adam Strange going to Ultron's planet and finding out he's trying to fuck with the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, he's just jamming computer parts into him, trying to assimilate him to the Borg side. Once I was Norrin Rad, now I am the Cutis, an Ultron.
But that being said, I'm glad Pimtron's actually getting something. He's such
Me
an
too.
interesting character, and they're just like,
He
oh,
really
no,
is.
no one wants to use him.
Yeah, he's super interesting. He's probably one of the best new villains they've created, which is hilarious because they just smashed two characters together.
Yeah.
He literally became Composite Santa from Robot Chicken. I am Composite Tron. But yeah, that was all right. What else did I have this week? Oh, ooh, we had Tom King Batman also this week.
It wasn't as bad as his last one, but like I
It
read it and I'm
wasn't.
like, I have a few questions.
Yeah, this issue played to his strengths, and that is no scene went on for too long. They were all very short little vignettes, and I can't complain about him writing people out of character because this is like one of those dark alternate present futures where everyone's going to be different anyway.
Yeah. But in saying that, you can sort of say they write him out of character. Like, why is Dick Grayson Batman if he never met
What?
Bruce Wayne or any of that?
Yeah, how on earth could he become Batman if there was no Bruce Wayne to be inspired by the bat crashing through the window for him to turn into Batman? Also, if this is Dick Grayson, who was a traveling circus kid, why is he still in Gotham? Did his parents die at the circus in Gotham and he's just been there that whole time? If so, who took care of him? Should he not have gone with the circus after that?
Yeah, yeah. Again, no real sense.
You know, I will say Jason Todd being a tacky tire salesman in Gotham City is pretty fucking hilarious.
It is pretty hilarious. There's also like the thing with like the Joker, because I know it's like always fast and loose with the Joker's origins, but people like to tie Batman and the Joker together,
They sure do.
where like Batman's the reason the Joker was
Uh,
born, or Joker
Fell in
was the
the
reason.
acid at
Yeah,
the Ace
and
Chemical.
so like if there was no Batman, why is there a Joker?
Well, not just why is there a Joker?
Jokers.
Why are there many Jokers, plural? How did that happen?
And Jokers who are taking over heroes, like infecting them, like we see with Hal Jordan blowing his brains out because he's infected with Joker toxin or something.
Yeah. To which Booster Gold says awesome, to where I'm like, I don't think Booster would say that.
Yeah, no, this Booster, especially after like the big Superman story where he actually learnt something very
Yeah.
important.
Yes.
He's a real idiot.
Yeah, he writes him like a dumbass, which, okay, credit where credit is for King. Yes, Booster Gold has been a dumbass for a long slate of his career, but he's not this dumb and he's not this uncaring.
Yeah, and especially after a story that involved traveling through time and messing with one's history, like in the Superman book. And here he's just like, I'm gonna mess with Bruce's history because of the Black Mercy. And I'm like, did you not like listen to anyone who told you about the Black Mercy? It's horrible.
Yeah. Also, he says it wrong. He says Black Orchid. He doesn't say Black Mercy. To where I'm like, okay, did Tom King not get the memo? Did he get it wrong, or is he writing Booster Gold to be a dumbass who gets it wrong?
I don't know.
I don't know either, to where I'm like, okay, I can't bust you on this because maybe it was intentional. Also, once again, our theory that we've been playing around with forever now, and that is that Tom King secretly only took Batman so he could take the piss out of Batman because he doesn't like Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is written like a whiny, petulant child in this one who puts everyone else in danger for his own happiness. But hey, it's an alternate version of Bruce Wayne, so that flies.
Yeah.
But I feel like Tom King had way too much fun writing that scene.
Oh yeah. This is finally writing the Bruce Wayne I want to write.
Yeah. Did I mention Bruce Wayne sucks? Because I think he sucks.
And what was some other things? Oh yeah, Skeets is now like a time machine.
Yeah. Which is also dumb, where it's like, wait, but Booster Gold doesn't need Skeets to time travel. He had a whole time ship in that Superman story.
Yeah, and like, well, if Skeets could time travel, why didn't they mention that in that story? And it would have been easy with like a throwaway line, like after that Superman event, they installed like a little one in Skeets, but no, don't get any of that. That would require Tom King to read something outside of his books.
That's the thing. It's like, look, you can't hold Tom King responsible for writing an out-of-continuity Booster Gold. He probably only just heard about the character that morning when he started writing him.
He heard Dan Jurgens talking about something called a Booster Gold.
And he's like, that sounds fun. I should put that in my story. I'm going to do it. You'll see. And yeah, the whole story is what is it, precedented on something really stupid, and that is Booster Gold being like, I should go back and get Bruce Wayne's parents so they can like attend his wedding and he won't be sad for a day and everything. And it's like, that's a terrible idea on a million levels. But all right.
Why would you do that? You're meant to be like helping not fuck up time, you know.
Yeah, is not your only job, Booster, to keep this stuff from happening? Should Booster not travel back in time and stop himself from being so stupid?
Yeah.
Again, shaky premise aside, it actually wasn't too bad. Hats off to Tony Daniels' art too. It was a really pretty looking book.
It was, and but I know like a lot of the stuff in this book won't pay off. Like I know like seeing all those all what's happening with all the Robins won't ever pay off. That nothing will happen there with them. So like, why show them?
Yeah, because I mean, it's this is a guy who has problems explaining and doing world building in the main universe. You think he's gonna bend over backwards to do it here in this crazy time travel story?
Yeah.
But again, not as bad as the last two arcs. I was actually able to read this one, and I didn't want to pull my hair out when it was over.
Yeah, I did have like questions and like concerns, but yeah, I wasn't like fuming and everything.
Yeah, it feels like Tom King should really have, like, what is it, like a group of other writers with him where people can be like, okay, question before you do that, question.
I thought, isn't that like the editor's job?
Yes, it is.
What's the Batman editor doing, sleeping?
I mean, like, none of the other books have this problem.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Has, like, his job just been too easy for too long now that he's not checking the papers anymore?
Yeah, is he one of those people that's like, oh, it's Tom King, he writes Mr. Miracle, this will be good anyway, I don't need to do anything?
Probably. Which, actually, hey, it's funny, he put a little Batman jab in Mr. Miracle from, like, a week ago, actually.
Yeah, something about Batman eats babies or something.
Batman kills babies, because, like, he has a kid now, and the baby has, like, a little Batman toy in the crib, to which he's like, no, he can't have that. Crib death happens all the time. You heard it here first. Batman kills babies. And I'm like, wow, maybe you were the wrong person to take Batman, because you cannot seem to help but talk about how shit he is. Which, don't get me wrong, there's a lot that's shit about Batman. No two ways about it, but there's two ways to tackle it. The way you're tackling it, and the way, like, Sean Gordon Murphy tackled it in his story.
Yeah, or like how Tynan's tackling it in Detective.
Exactly. You can have Batman be a shit. it's very easy to write Batman as a shit, but you need to write him as a person you actually want to keep reading about. He needs to have some likability to him, or at least be good at what he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can't be a shit and be incompetent. That's the problem. But yeah, so that was Batman. Not as bad. I'm actually, okay reading the rest of this, where before I was dreading it.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how it's going to pay off, if it pays off.
If it pays off at all. What else did you have going on, Matt? I had like one more book this week.
I think that's pretty much it.
All right, then I will quickly talk about Spider-Man 799.
Okay.
So Norman Osborn has the Carnage symbiote now. He's running around as the Red Goblin and trying to enact a bunch of revenge. He broke Peter Parker's leg, which means he can't go out and fight, but using his brain for once, he actually gets together all of his amazing spider friends. So Silk comes back, and Miles Morales comes back, and the Human Torch joins him, and Clayton Clash, Cole comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, he builds like a spider army. He's like, okay, look, he's clearly going to attack my family. I've seen this movie before. We just wait at all the important people in my life, and as soon as Osborn shows up, then, we'll attack them all together, basically. But he doesn't go after them. He goes after his own family. He tries to kidnap his grandkids from Harry.
Okay.
And that's because he wants to pass on the Osborn legacy to someone else. He wants to turn one of those kids into a Red Goblin, too. Agent Anti-Venom shows up, and Agent Anti-Venom is maybe one of the only people who can actually hurt him right now, because being an Anti-Venom, he can burn away the symbiote.
Yeah.
But of course, because Osborn's a crazy villain, he's like, oh, you could stop me, or you could save these people. And Flash is like, damn it, I have to save the people, always with the people. And Spider-Man shows up on his broken leg, and he's like, I don't think I can beat him, guys. He beat you all half to death, and I got this broken leg. And Flash is like, shut up, take this, and he grabs his arm, and it's implied that he, gave him a bit of the anti-Venom suit, or he, maybe gave him some leftover Venom stuff that was in it, but basically he's going to have the black suit in issue 100.
Of course.
Or in 800, and it's going to be Red Goblin versus Black Suit Spider-Man.
Okay.
And that's what it's building up to. Again, it didn't blow me away. It didn't change my life. But I'm like, this is actually pretty cool to see all of these guys together and to actually see Spider-Man trying to use his brain for once and think tactically.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Red Goblin's a good threat, and I've always enjoyed the soap opera of the Osborn family, and they take it into some pretty interesting directions. They imply, hey, Harry, your mom who you thought was dead or missing for years? What if she wasn't dead or missing? What if she's actually been here this whole time? Wouldn't that fuck with you?
Yeah. I'm guessing that they're getting ready to move over into Nick Spencer's run, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Which actually, hey, the free comic book day issue leaked out online already, and I may have looked at a couple panels accidentally, of course.
I think I might have seen them as well.
You might have seen them. Pete gets not one but two new roommates, and one is very familiar. And here you and I were asking, how long is it going to be before Nick Spencer goes back to the superior foes of Spider-Man? Well, the answer is instantly. The answer is right away.
Yes.
Yeah, which to me, I'm like, fuck yeah. And again, for those of you who are like, man, Spencer's a really funny guy with Ant-Man and Superior Foes and all these other indie books he does. How does he go about writing a funny Spider-Man? Very well.
Yeah.
He writes a chuckle-worthy Spider-Man. In fact, he even has a little bit of a treatise in the comic about Spider-Man's brand of humor, where he's like, look, man, I'm not like any of these other comic characters like Wolverine who just go snick, bub, growl. I gotta work topical. I gotta work everybody. I'm basically superhero Letterman. And, man, big respect on that guy for doing it as many years as he did. It's hard to write Spider-Man jokes. And I'm like, I agree.
Yep.
You clearly know what's up. You clearly understand the character. Thumbs up, Spencer. to a long and healthy run for you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I guess that was basically it for the week, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
I guess we can start winding the show down then, huh?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you are a member of Patreon, you can listen to this show first before anyone else in both audio version that is submitted by me and video version that is submitted by Matt.
Yeah, and only for $1 a month.
only for as little as $1 a month. You can pledge whatever you want, but for as little as $1 a month, you get access to the podcast. And actually, here I was trying to stall for time because we actually got some new patrons that I wanted to send. I wanted to send some shout outs to because I forget to do that time to time. I know other YouTubers have like actual things at the end where it's like, here's a little banner saying, this video made possible by people like this. But because our patrons are always changing, it's hard to keep track of who's who.
Yeah.
But yes, a special shout out to It's Loading. Big shout out to JC Stills and Gabriel for being 2 new patrons for this month. So thank you guys so much for that one. It's much appreciated. You help keep the lights on at this operation. You help keep the show on SoundCloud, where you can actually go and listen to the show completely ad-free the day after. For those interested, you can download it, you can carry it around with you. You also help me pay Matt every month, so thanks for that as well. That's always much appreciated. And that's basically it. Anything else you want to talk about, Matt? Any other projects you want to...
Not really. I'm actually catching up on my backlog of comics at the moment. It's pretty big.
Right on. I've gotten back to streaming again. If you go to the Cape Joel Twitch, I was doing a little God of War, and if you want to see re-uploaded versions of it, go to the Joel Daily YouTube channel, where I actually try and edit those bigger sections up to look nice and everything, so you can see that over there as well. Be sure to subscribe, because I need to reach a ridiculous number of both views and subscribers before I can actually turn on monetization for that channel.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube creators who know exactly who they are, who fucked it up for everybody.
Yeah.
And on that wonderfully bitter note, we will leave you for this week. I've been Joel.
I'm Matt.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.